Okay, are you ready over there, sir?
Yep, we are rolling.
All right, let's do
Rolling.
this. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Inspired by Miss Amber Red. Today I am here with Sam, and I am actually going to let her, I'm actually here with Sam and Sasha. Sasha's over here, she's my right hand, my left hand today.
Yeah.
But I'm going to let Sam introduce herself and tell you a little bit about who she is, where she's from, what she does.
Yeah, so I'm Sam with the Beauty Collective in Fort Worth, Texas. And I've been in the beauty industry for 14 years, tattooing for 8. I am so excited to meet the dream team here because, of course, like we met in Fort Worth last year, but I've been following, I've taken so many classes from you guys. So I'm just super excited to be here and talk about culture and kind of like chat. So
Yeah, so when you say culture, what does that mean? Like, let's tell everybody a little bit. Like, what do you mean by that? Like culture, like within the studio?
I think at its core, it's really who not only you are, but who your business is, um, who your space is. And I think it's basically like the all encompassing of what you stand for. And I didn't know this for years. I've been in business for a long time and I've had employees for a long time. And like something was always missing. And I heard, obviously, I know the word culture, what that means, right? But I guess I always thought like I'm a small business. You know, small business. I almost hate when people say that, right? Because I'm like, I'm not small. But yeah, like I was on my own forever and kind of been doing this thing and salon culture, or salon or studio or tattooing, you don't hear the word culture being thrown around as much. It's much more like a corporate thing. And I think it's absolutely imperative to have a culture, especially if you're going to um, be servicing clients, have a team, you know, be solving problems out there for your community.
You know what's wild is Victor actually says this a lot. He over the last because when I started, I was in a studio, and then I branched out and did my own, opened our studio, and it's like I didn't know what he meant by that. I was like, he kept saying, you need to create this culture. It's like culture's like, what would he say? I'm trying to think what he would say exactly, but like that people feel a part of, basically, like something that makes them feel included. And I just kept thinking, I'm like, what does he mean by this? Like, what is that? Like, it's like, we kind of know what that means, but like, are there some key things that you have, from when you first started to where you are now that you've noticed that have drastically made a difference, or things that people need to pay attention to, or, do within their business to help create that culture?
Yeah, I think number one, what I see a lot of studio owners or just, people who work in beauty or tattooing, um, they're like really, because most of the time we're like really artsy people, right? And we just want to do our art, give it to the world, make people feel great, make them feel beautiful. And really, like, it's so much more than that. Like, people have to understand who you are. And you may know who you are, but people don't out there don't typically know who you are. And not only do they not know who that you are, they don't care, really, unless you stand for something really strong. And so I always say you have to. I see a lot of artists who they're like, I want a tattoo, or I want to do lashes, or I want to do this, that, and the other. But they don't have a mission statement. They don't have a vision statement. They don't know who their demographic is. They don't know what problem they solve. They're just like, I want to make people prettier. I want to do art. And you really have to know those things and be able to put it down on paper. And if you've never put it down on paper, it's a lot harder than you think it is. what your mission is, who are you serving, what is your demographic. A lot of people don't even know what their demographic is. Like, who are you serving? What problems are you solving out there for the community? And that's kind of the core of who you are. I think I totally believe in having a mission statement and a vision statement. We have ours posted in the hallway. Um, and it's basically like what you stand for. And I think strong branding is so much more about what colors are your studio? How do you have it decorated? What's your vibe? It's really all of those things I spoke about.
Think of. So we're in like a weird
Transition,
yeah, weird
kinda?
transition. We're in a transition where well, first opening the studio, I never wanted it to be Miss Amber Red. I don't believe that is what the studio should be called. I think that is like an individual thing. Like, it feels very much like me, and I think that's very hard. I mean, we've done a good job now, like with marketing and like being out there on Google and all the things like social media. I think now the community around us knows that, Miss Amber Red is more than one artist. But originally, I mean, it took us like up until, I'd probably say within the last year, that people arrive and they don't expect to just see me. I think now they're getting more used to seeing, oh, there's other artists here. Like, okay, like it's kind of confusing at first, and now we're trying. So I'm like, it's gonna be the death of me, but we're switching, and we just did a really fun activity. We're not taking Miss Amber Red away, but I'm kind of taking it back to myself, because that's what people here know me individually as. But we're doing like, it's inspired, and then it has the gold like Miss Amber Red signature. So inspired is going to be like the new Miss Amber Red. But with that said, we did something really cool. I thought it was really cool, kind of corny. I text Sasha, I'm like, do you think this is a good idea, Sasha, or should I totally trash this? Like, is this a dumb idea? We're like going to be kindergartners again. But so I was like, all right, we're going to get a poster board, and we're going to write down inspired, and we're going to write everything down, just words, what is inspired, like, because we're the founders of Inspired. You guys have been with me since day one. What does it look like to you? What is it? So my little butt goes to Walmart, and I'm walking around, and I'm like, all right, a poster board, that's so cheesy, I can do better than that. So I start walking around, and I was like, oh, a fucking mirror. We can do a mirror. So I got this idea to do this mirror and to take paints and like start, we're going to write on this mirror and write down all of these words. And I think it said like,
we had bold, we had
worldwide,
iconic,
creative,
love,
individuality, like, is something huge, like support, like, just what are these keywords, like what is inspired and what does it look like, and how cool that we can like now hang this mirror, and then we can take pictures where we're the reflection of this mirror that we've created with all these words on it. It's so freaking cool. So anyways, that was my golden moment for the whole year.
It was a good idea. It's motivating, take a photo in it, you see these words, and it helps you feel good about yourself, and that's the goal of it.
And a small reminder, because business can get hard. And I think, and it not only can it get hard, but it's very scary. I'm telling you, it's for me, this is a scary moment.
Yeah.
It is scary to pull Miss Amber Red away and then putting Inspired in its place. That's why in my vision, I think Miss Amber Red, the signature should stay there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So people can still tie the two together. But it's very scary to completely go through like a rebranding. So some of the things that we've, the branding stays similar. We're being a little more fun because we have a vision for Inspired to do. It's eventually can go worldwide, like where people can have Inspired and then their gold signature and maybe with their colors and this. So it's very going to turn into more artsy like down the line. But I think you're right, like having a vision and a direction, because I'm on this kick where I'm listening to these like motivational speakers every single morning when I get ready. And this morning's topic was exactly what you said. It was, if you don't have a definite direction, then you're just literally going to float through life. You're not going to get to where you need to get in life because literally you don't have goals. You don't have, because there's so many distractions in our life, right? That it's hard to get us on that definite direction. So, what else?
So, Sam, I have a question. You said you had your mission statement in the hallway, right?
Yeah.
What is your mission statement?
So you want to read it to us? I'm like, that's actually our vision.
She's like, read it
I'm
word
like,
for word. It's amazing.
yeah, read it. Yes. I should have been prepared and brought
Sorry
this.
to put on this spot.
Cool. Okay, so our mission at a beauty collective is to provide a place where we can empower women with confidence by enhancing their natural God-given beauty. Through our innovative service and superior products, we are changing the face of beauty, and we pledge to serve our guests with the personalized attention they deserve.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Probably should look at the camera.
Yes.
I keep looking over
Sasha's
here.
Sasha's over here. She's like, all right, Amber, we need to put one of those in the hallway. I'm like, Sasha, that's our mirror.
Yeah.
Our mirror is our mission statement.
Yeah.
And I totally believe in posting this around. I know when I was going to school, we were supposed to like memorize the mission statement. Obviously, I should have done that before this podcast, but yeah, but I think the mirror thing is so brilliant. And what like a metaphor is that, right? Like that's like so beautiful. Also, I totally understand what y'all are kind of going through because I actually rebranded. I bought out my business partner 2 years ago and had to completely rebrand, change the name and everything. And it was painful, and it felt like a part of me was kind of being like ripped away, and I didn't know where like I had to go. And it was the same thing. I had to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, at the core, what vision do I see? Who am I helping? Like, who am I? If I had 3 words, how would I want it to describe like my business? And the crazy thing is like, when you have employees or assistants or like people who are helping you, this is also something that has to be clear for them. You need to be able to be really clear with them about what it is you're doing and who you're helping and what your vision is and what your mission is. Because if they don't see it, they're not going to feel it. Like if they don't understand the vibe and have like see the expectation and also see the vision, it's really, really hard to keep, people. And that's just what it is. So when I rebranded, I told, I read so many books. Amber, I'm just like you. I'm like, I am a fiend for business books, like podcasts. I want to hear inspirational, talks, TED Talks, like quotes, because I'm just like, I'm getting there, right? Like I'm leveling up constantly. And I was just like, I want to everybody who I employ or to be helping me or to be assisting me to have like such a clear job description and understand their expectation, and see the vision. And it's been so much easier whenever I know what it is and I can then tell them like, this is what it is. Like, this is what we're doing. And they like get it. And you would be surprised at how many people jump on board and they're like, yeah, I'm totally, and will be your strongest hype girls and guys if you are so strong in what you believe and what you do.
Yeah, I feel like I'm lucky because I still get to keep Miss Amber Red. I'm like, so it's not going anywhere. But it's like Miss Amber Red now, it inspired. And so, the vision with us, it's like bringing in different artists and allowing them to have individual, and like we all have like an overall like mission statement, right? We all are believing in these same like core words that we put on this mirror, but also like to me, it's like the individual, like being able to be your own individual business within a business still without the competition, without, all that other
right.
BS that comes along with it, but still being within a creative community and having that support. That's really like, I just feel like maybe, growing up in life, I was the kid that, I was the kid like with the family that had real life jobs, like go to school, do this, do that. And I was always the creative one, never had a place to go. So bam, there, it's always in my forefront, I think. So like really provide a space to where people feel like having a sense of it's their own. Like I'm always like, yo, what can you do for yourself? Like, yes, like you work here, I work here too. You know what I mean? Like, so like, what can you do for yourself that's gonna, help you, but also help the business, because we're all trying to get somewhere and in with the same end goal in mind, right? Because we still have that vision statement overall over everything.
And I think it really starts at the top too. Like, one thing I didn't understand for years is like, and this like really hurts. And maybe I hope I kind of struck a chord with maybe some like owners or artists out there that maybe has a team or is thinking about a team. But like, honestly, as harsh as this sounds, like sometimes if things aren't going how it's like you envision it or how it's supposed to go, sometimes it's
you.
not them, it's you.
I knew that's exactly what you were going to say. Like, maybe you should look at yourself, because no,
Like,
100%. Like, I kill myself every day and try my fucking hardest to keep the vibe positive. Like, if I
right.
come in with a shit attitude, guess what? They're going to have a shit attitude. If I don't show up, guess what? They're not going to show up. If you don't work hard, they're not going to work hard. It's definitely a reflection of
Right.
you, right?
And how hard is it to fake that sometimes? I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, today's not the day. Like, and it's just like, but you gotta, like, and it gets to where, like, especially if you start to get to know, like, your team and you really start to, like, love them and you connect, you're just like, I have to do this for them. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think it's okay to have a moment too. I think what helps us a lot, it's like, I mean, Sasha, how many times have you seen me like come in, and it's like, all right, just letting this out. It's like, have your cry session. Let people know that, you're human, right? Like, something's going to happen. Like, and if you cry, you cry. Who cares? But like, just letting that out, or even just like our like number one thing is like, don't show up to work with a shit attitude. Mm-hmm. If something's going off or, going on in life, and, if you're sad or if you're this, like, it's like how it makes a huge difference if you, we're all women. If you like well, I guess Victor isn't, but but like, if you vocally like just say that, just vocalize it, right? Like, and I think because we all have been together, like you said, for a while now. It's like you come from a place of understanding, and it's like, yo, I just need a mental health day. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Well, don't come into and then don't come in today. Like, perfect. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Like, I appreciate that more than you coming in and dragging down the rest of the studio's vibe, and everybody knows that. And it's like, everybody's got these contracts and this, that. I kind of want to throw the contracts out the freaking window. It's like, yeah, we got to do them to try to keep us safe as a business, but also too, I don't want anybody there that doesn't want to be there. I've had I've had one situation now where the contract wasn't fulfilled, and it's like, you know what, you don't want to be here, bye. Like, I'm not going to hold the contract over you. I'm not going to court to fight you. I don't need the negative energy. I'd rather it just be gone.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just think that that's what just suck it up as a business owner. And a lot of people might disagree with that, but it's like, why, like, that's just causing so much more negativity that I didn't got time or energy to like go through. And if they want to leave. Mm-hmm.
Well, all the values
you're
too
stronger
that
than me.
You're stronger than me is what you said.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm tired. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Sasha?
You're learning where to put your energy. But I was saying the values that you hold for yourself, you also hold for us too. And I think that's why, like, we work, because,
She says the values I hold for myself, I hold for them. Okay, I'm working on that.
No,
because
you do, though.
I do that, but I also, like, you got to let people just be.
Yeah.
And I'm really working hard on that, because if I care about somebody and if I see their potential, I will push hard, and that person will hate me. They'll end up hating me. So I have to like pull back and like remove, not everybody wants to work 24/7, and I guess that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get that, but okay.
Like, for real, like, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I think you said something too that actually was on my list about culture, is like, I think it's important too, as like a leader, or owner, whatever it is, like, to apologize often, to be vulnerable, and to say like, I don't know sometimes, is huge, because it like it kind of puts them in a position. Oftentimes, when you're a business owner, people look at you like you are the golden goose or something, that you have it all. It's so easy that da 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 da. And so, like, I think it's and that you know it all, right? Because you're the owner or you've been doing this for so long. And I think it goes so far with people like humanizing what you do and yourself and your team and apologize, be vulnerable, say, I don't know, but I'm going to find out and I'm not going to give up until I do figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think I do that often. I'm like, oh shit, sorry, Sasha. Yeah. I'm like, or yeah, I'm like, I don't know, but maybe in a second, like.
Yeah, but we all give ourselves, I think, a lot of room in that area, you know, to not be perfect.
Yeah.
'Cause you can't expect that. No one's perfect. You know, you're learning too, just like we are. So
yeah, in the business stuff, it's like, I always say, I'm like, nobody taught or nobody teaches. Nobody says how hard it is. Nobody, like, jumping in, I had only had that studio open, like, 2 months before I was like, bam, 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 let's start hiring people. And I'm like, boy, I didn't know nothing about payroll, workers' comp, like insurance coverage, and let alone a scheduling system or a payment. So, you know, I didn't do that stuff when I was at another studio. So it was like all these things just pile on top of one another. And it's like, well, it's balls to the wall because you ain't got no time. You got to figure it out now. But I do. I like making decisions, though. I'd rather. This is kind of weird, and I don't mean this is even on topic. But I'm like, I'd rather make a decision on the spot than to give me 2 weeks to make a decision. I can't stand it. Like, ask me on the spot, and I'll figure something out right away. But if I have to sit there and think about the decision, I hate it.
Well, because you're someone who knows what they want right away. Like you just
maybe.
No, it is. It's true. You can catch it. You can get a vibe really quickly, and you're just like, "Yep, I know my answer. I don't need to think about it."
Yeah, I hate thinking about it. It drives me nuts. Like, where's Brisa? She should already been in the studio. Like,
yeah, I know.
Why is this lingering? What's happening here?
I know. I was wondering too. But we'll see. I guess together.
We'll see what happens. Studio shifts.
I don't know. Maybe like you just tend to overthink it, you know, whenever you just like have so much time. And they say like the most successful businesses are just like able to make decisions like this. Yes, no, yes. Okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. And don't be afraid to fail. I don't know, because, you know.
Yeah. So how long have you been in your studio? How long have you had employees? What does all that look like? And how did you navigate it? Did you do apprenticeships? Did you not do apprenticeships? What's your in-studio, day-to-day look like?
So I, started on my own as a solo artist, and I got to be so busy to where I couldn't I feel like I couldn't take any more and kind of like handle everything. So I was like, maybe I should hire one. And that was a complete freaking disaster. Around the same time, I was kind of slowly starting to merge businesses with my ex-business partner. And so it was a lot at one. It almost like happened to like in a whirlwind almost. But I mean, I'm telling you, like, I've never done apprenticeships in the traditional sense. I always just had employees, and it took a lot of employees. Let me tell you, like, I've been through a lot of employees, and I have like the most amazing team now. I love them so much. I trust them. But it took a long time, and it took me like really looking at myself. Like I said, I've been in business for like 14 years now, or doing this for 14 years, and I think I've had employees for 11 of those, and I'm just now figuring it out in the last 2 years. So don't get discouraged if you don't know. One thing I will say that like really changed the game that I implemented, 2 years ago is meetings. And I, before the kind of feeling and outlook that me and my business partner had is like, we're too busy. We're losing money if we have meetings. Like if business stops and everybody like comes together and we're not taking clients, we're not making money. And we have this overhead and this, that, and the other. And whenever I went solo 2 years ago, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to do one-on-one meetings, and I'm going to do weekly meetings, and I'm going to do monthly trainings. And I'm telling you, that has been the best thing for us. I do trainings monthly, and sometimes it's like the same thing over and over, but it's new things that I've learned. I'll take a course, I'll do this, even like the littlest, things that I learn from people going to conferences, and I come back to my team and I'm like, okay, guys, I found this new trick. And I'll do a whole training on that. And that's monthly. Weekly meetings, that's where we kind of have lunch together and we talk about like, okay, what does our week look like? Who hasn't come back? Who do we need to get back to? Is anybody having problems? I have also in those meetings kind of started doing like, our weekly wins, which I know is so cheesy, but it's really just to live live in gratitude. Yep. And so, and my team really likes it. We love it. And now it's like we all have kind of like a true like relationship. And so, and then also the one-on-ones, which is really freaking stressful, but some things
I
you
hate
can't,
that. I'm like, oh God, okay, here we
yeah,
go.
yeah, sometimes you just can't say, or you don't want your employees to say certain things in front of the whole team. Like it's sometimes something that needs to be addressed between you, right? And it doesn't even need to be like terrible or this or that, but it's like maybe something they wouldn't say in front of the team. And those one-on-ones are really good to catch things that like could happen,
Speaking of that, Sasha,
down
we
the
need a
line.
feedback. We've been doing
Yeah.
this email I'm like, Sasha and I, she's always with me. I'm like, we need feedback. She needs to have a meeting with me and give me feedback. I'm like, because I'm always the one, it's like, you're always the one giving the feedback. So it's like, it's good to get feedback. Like, hey, Amber, like maybe you could focus on this a little bit more. I mean, she does that a little bit on the daily now anyway. She's finding her voice a little bit more with me, but it's like,
Yeah,
that's good to get feedback too. Cause I feel like every time somebody gives me feedback, it makes me think of something in a different way.
absolutely.
So I'm
It
like, oh
kind of
shit, I didn't
stings
see
a
that
little
looking
bit.
from the outside in, but you saw that? Like, dang, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can sting a little bit
Yeah,
sometimes,
that's all right
but
though.
It's
I don't
necessary.
mind. I'll forget
it's
about it
better.
tomorrow anyways.
Yeah. It's necessary though.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So,
I'm trying to think, is there anything that because we do weekly meetings.
do
We do
weekly
the
meetings.
weekly meetings. We've done that since day one.
Yeah. You do the one-on-ones
We do
with
the
apprentices.
one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think I have been thinking, like she said, I've been thinking more about like the monthly like chit chats, like just because we do really well. Like what's interesting that I notice about us is we love brainstorm sessions. Our brains, we're all so creative. Our brains go wild, and some of the craziest, best ideas come from little sit-togethers like that. And it's like sometimes it won't happen for like but once every 3 months. But I think if we did it like monthly, I just don't know how we would do because they're always like spontaneous. They're never like okay, sit down and now we have to
Scheduled.
brainstorm.
Yeah.
Like so, I don't know if it'd work in that sense, but we do,
Yeah.
another thing to create culture actually is we do like team outings. This
All the
last
time.
weekend we just
Yeah.
yeah, she said all the time. This weekend we just took the boat out to the lake and I rented a house. It was my husband's birthday, rented a house, and we took the boat out all day and we barbecued at night, and it was just fun. But we do stuff like that. We go downtown all the time and have drinking days.
Well, that's important, that we're friends. We're together more than we probably are with our families. So it's important that we like each other and that we're friends. So
Right.
I think that's really important to us.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that there's a fine line there? Because do you think that, like, because I think some people would probably be like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the way. Like, do you think that is, like, what's your take on that? Like, do you guys do, like, get together? Like, do you guys do stuff like that? Do you guys get drunk together? I'm kidding.
Yeah, actually, like I do, there's a lot of things that I've taken like from the corporate world, and have like tried to implement in my business. But one thing I think that small business has this, like we're allowed to do is like we're allowed to have fun and not take ourselves too seriously. And I do think that's important. I think it's really part of like seeing each other as humans. So I do like we have fun. Like we go to each other's like showers. We like have like parties outside. So like I think that's really important. I think having fun together is important. We need to do more though. Like me and my team like need to do more. So
Like next on my list, implementing nap time.
I've been asking it. I'm like, we need to get on the Italy, from 2 to 4. We need to be shut down, do it like other countries and take a little
yes,
break.
Take a little
we need to be
breather.
on Spain time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Literally, like there's
siesta.
gotta be like how Google does it. There needs to be a playroom.
Yeah.
We need to have. There's lots of things that we're missing. I think still.
We'll get
Yes.
there.
Oh my goodness. Well, I don't even know how long we've been talking. I'm like, anything else important that you want to touch base on? You like on the topic of culture, and I mean, I don't. Yeah, I want you to like talk about like if you offer trainings or how people can find you or pretty much everything about you. Tell us everything about you.
Um, I was gonna say, I think hiring slow is really important. You got to really, I used to be like, because anybody can look good on paper, right? And I've gotten some people in here and I'm like, girl, like, I don't know who
We're
like,
learning that
and
lesson.
I just,
Yeah.
yeah, like I just jumped on it so much because I'm like, oh, she's perfect. And then it got in there and I was like,
It's like, how do you
ooh,
distinguish with what they're saying on paper? Like, we meet them, so we just actually went through this. We cannot find a front desk studio helper for anything, and it's the easiest job in the entire world, and we cannot find one to save our freaking lives.
Yeah.
We have been through them. They look great on paper. They come in and they talk a big game, and next thing you know, they're gone and they don't show up again. And I'm just like, what in the world? How did we miss this? Like,
I have such a way more strenuous hiring process. Now that I've rebranded, like it's truly like a three-step process, almost like the corporate world. The first one I do is I do like a Zoom call where I like meet them and kind of see if like their vibe is on point. And that way, like you could do it from your home, you could do it from their home. It's always interesting too, like how they show up. Like a lot of people will come in their pajamas, and I'm like, sister, this is still an interview. Like, what do you do? Which is if that's your like, you know, studio culture, right? Right. If it's like your vibe and your like branding to be like that, then that's one thing. But I'm just like sometimes I'm like shocked. So you can quickly like go through these interviews and crank them out and kind of like be like yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And I'm very, very clear about expectations, job description. Then I'll meet in person. And you know what I do? I schedule the interviews like I stack them. So I will stack like one for 15 minutes and then another one 15 minutes later and one 15 minutes. And I do that because I want these girls to go in here and see that there's other people wanting this job. And oftentimes, sometimes people will like, I don't think I want it that much. Like you can have it and they'll never like show up for the third interview. Or they will be like, you can almost tell who's hungry, like in that, because they're like, this girl's out here in the lobby and hell no, she's not about to get my position. And that is what I'm trying to see, you know? And then I have where, of course, I like to see their work, and I have an in person where I'm like, okay, I'm standing over them and I'm like, okay, make me some fans or do some strokes or how do you, and I ask them like about this and that and the other, like specifics, like what machine are you using? What this or that, what speed do you like to, and I really like kind of test their knowledge and I mean, it's a lot of pressure but it also shows me a lot about who they are. And I'm also very clear about what it is they're walking into and about, again, who we are and like what we do here and what I believe. And it's crazy. Like, since I've been doing that, people like want to be a part of it. And so,
process. That's
Yeah,
really
because I'm
smart.
like, I think we're only missing the Zoom part.
Yeah.
And well, and stacking them closer together.
Yeah. No, yeah, we did pretty good this last time stacking them.
Yeah,
like
we give
that.
them too much time with us the first meet.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't.
I like the Zoom. I like the second, and then I think the follow-up interview after that.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't get a good enough reading. Like, people will leave and you're like, I kind of liked her. It's like sometimes you don't get a good enough reading off of that first in person, and then you're just kind of going off of that. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another thing that kind of has helped my culture too is like rewarding in public and reprimanding in private. Like I will always like be the first to be like, okay, shout out to Peyton because she caught this early and like she always does this really, really well. And I am so proud of her. Let's all be like her, or whatever it is. Like, even if it's like something minuscule. But if again, on the other side, like Peyton does something that I'm like, not really cool with or rubs me the wrong way, I never do that in front of the team. I always like do that in private. And I'm like, try to get on their level. And I'm like, okay, hey girl, so like what is like happening? Like, is everything okay? Because I noticed, and there's been so many times where I've like made such a big deal in my head. And whenever I've like kind of talked to them about it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was me. Like, it's because of something I did. Or like, I was totally like overthinking that or thought it was because of this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of been a big deal for us, so.
With permanent makeup, do you offer any training or anything like that? You're in Texas, right?
So, yep, I'm in Texas. I don't do training. I typically only will train my team, but it's something I have something in the works. So we'll kind of see. I'm actually, funny enough, like trying to, at the moment, book more podcasts, and I'd love to get into public speaking.
Nice.
I have just like a passion, and I've been a lot of places, and so that's sort of my goals. But as far as training, I have a couple things like in the works right now. But right now I just kind of focus on my team. I have done trainings just from people in the community here locally that have been like, I want to be trained by you, and so I'll do that. But it's not something that I do regularly right now.
Okay. And then if anybody wants to find you, how do they find you? Where is your business located exactly? And also like basically say like your social medias and your website. So, because I want to drop it in the comment below so people can see.
Yeah, so I'm at abeautycollective.com. That's my website. You can book appointments. I'm actually in between Dallas and Fort Worth, so we call it Mid-Cities here. So I am in the Mid-Cities area, North Richland Hills to be exact. And yeah, so Instagram, it's a Beauty Collective TX. And then I think I just got on TikTok. Oh, girl, it's yay! It's a thing. It's a thing. So, but and I think we're a Beauty Collective TX on there as well. And then of course, Facebook, we're a Beauty Collective. So, pretty much across the board, you can find us at a Beauty Collective, and we do a lot of permanent makeup, lashes, everything, brows, and tanning as well.
Awesome.
Oh, tanning's cool.
No, huh?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, it was nice chatting with you. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave out there for anybody?
Actually,
or any questions for us?
Well, honestly, you guys do such a good job. Like, kudos to y'all and for having this podcast. And like, it's really interesting. I'm sure
he's running the podcast. Shout out to guy behind the camera.
Yeah.
Podcast studio.
It's really cool. It's cool. It's cool to see like your team, how y'all interact with each other, and it's really inspiring. Like, I feel like people who have small teams like hours where you can tell like there's just a vibe and we have fun and we love what we do and we're passionate, like it helps people want to be a part of something. And that in essence is what culture
I was
is,
just about to
right?
say that. I was like, that is what culture is, huh?
Yes. And so y'all do a really good job. So shout out to Inspired. Yeah.
First one that's ever told us that.
I know.
I was paying attention. But no, so and also I want to like if you are an owner or if you're even on your own solo and you are either have a team or you're wanting to build a team, do not it's difficult, but don't get discouraged. Like there is a lot of failure in that, but in your failure you are going to find out who you are, and like you just have to kind of keep going and get better, because and like it's difficult, but if you you know just keep going, I promise you, you know, if you do the kind of the things that we talked about and work on the culture will come. There's a great book actually called Culture Code by Daniel Coyle.
Oh, okay.
And that is, I read that book and it was just, you know, like so many good like nuggets of information.
I
So
have to check it
if
out.
you're like, yeah, if you're struggling and you're like an owner and you are just like stuck, there's there are you can get there. You have to really look deep inside, but you can get there.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, girl. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, everybody out there, for listening to another episode on Inspired. And thank you, Sasha, for always holding it down with me.
Absolutely. Anytime.
And I'm sure we will bring you back in the future. So hopefully you had fun.
I would love it.
All right, girl.
And maybe I'll see you girls in Fort Worth
You say that again?
soon. Or am I going to see you girls in Fort Worth for?
Well, we might be passing this year, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
not this time. Next time, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Comment, share, subscribe.
Yeah, what
we
Sasha
don't,
said. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
we don't have Tanya here right now, so.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.